Okay, let's dive into the fascinating world of logistics, shall we? We're going to figure out how the giants of industry actually, keep score. How can a manager know for sure if their supply chain is winning? Or if they're just kind of guessing?
I mean, really think about it. If you're running a massive global company, how do you truly know if you're efficient? It's a huge question, right? And the answer is way more complicated than just looking at the bottom line. Getting that perfect mix of fast deliveries, low costs, and happy customers, well, that's a serious balancing act.
And that really brings us to the core idea here. It seems super obvious, but it's so fundamental. If you want to improve something, you have to measure it first. Otherwise, you're just flying blind, hoping you're doing the right thing, with no real idea of where you're succeeding or where you're just burning cash.
Now, traditionally, managers have looked at performance through two main and really different lenses. And these two perspectives, they give you completely different kinds of information about how your business is actually doing.
And this slide really nails the contrast. On one hand, you've got financial measures like profit and ROI. Everyone loves them because they sound official. But here's the catch. They're always looking backward. They're like a report card from last semester. They can tell you that a problem exists, but they won't tell you what it is. On the other hand, you have operational measures. They're all about the here and now, your output, your delivery speed. They tell you what's actually happening on the ground right now.
So look, while those financial numbers are important, they're just not enough on their own. They don't cut it. They're slow, they miss all the critical details of what's happening in your warehouses and on your trucks, and they only give you half the story. Think of it like a smoke alarm. It's great at telling you there's a fire, but it has no idea which room it's in or what started it.
And this right here perfectly illustrates the problem when you focus on just one thing. Let's say your goal is just make the trucks go faster. You'll probably get orders there quicker. Great, but what happens to your fuel costs? They're going to skyrocket. See, when you optimize for just one metric, you almost always end up hurting another one. It creates all these internal conflicts. So, if a single metric isn't the answer, what does a good, balanced set of measurements actually look like? To get a real picture of your whole supply chain, you have to pick the right tools for the job.
A really useful metric has to check all of these boxes. It's got to be tied directly to your main goals, focus on what actually matters, and, this is a big one, be simple enough for everyone from the CEO to the person packing boxes to understand and use. If it's too complicated, it just causes more confusion than it solves.
Okay, now let's see how all this builds into a really powerful, modern way of seeing the whole picture. There's a model out there that helps describe even the most complex supply chains using a common set of definitions. And here it is. This model gives us 5 interconnected areas to look at. You've got reliability. That's fulfilling orders perfectly. Responsiveness, that's all about speed. Agility is how you handle the unexpected. Then you have costs and asset management, which are about efficiency. By looking at them together, you avoid those conflicting goals we talked about. Now, we could spend all day on this, but for this explainer, let's zoom in on 2 of the most crucial ones: reliability and asset management. First up, reliability. This is really the cornerstone of customer satisfaction. It's all about keeping your promises, plain and simple. Are you delivering exactly what the customer ordered, exactly when and how they expected it, every single time?
And the way we measure this is with a really powerful metric called perfect order fulfillment. It's got a simple name, but let me tell you, achieving it is anything but simple.
See, for an order to be perfect, it's not enough to be just on time or complete. No way. It has to be all of these things. One little slip-up on the paperwork or a slightly dinged-up box, and nope, that order is no longer perfect. It's an incredibly high bar to clear.
All right, let's pivot to the second pillar we're exploring, asset management. This one is all about how efficiently you use your resources. We're talking about both the money in the bank and your physical stuff, like warehouses and trucks, to meet customer demand and, of course, make a profit.
A supercritical measure here is something called the cash-to-cash cycle time. Basically, this tells you how fast you can turn a dollar that you've invested in, say, raw materials, back into a dollar of cash in your hand from a customer. The shorter this cycle is, the healthier and more efficient your company is.
And the way you calculate it is pretty straightforward. You take the number of days your inventory just sits on the shelf, you add the number of days it takes for your customers to actually pay you, and then you subtract the number of days you take to pay your own suppliers. It is a fantastic snapshot of a company's financial health. Okay, so you've got all this data, all these great metrics. Now what? How do you actually use it to get better? Because let's be real, the numbers themselves aren't the answer. They're just the information you need to start making smarter decisions.
Well, one of the most powerful tools out there is something called benchmarking. And this isn't just taking a casual peek at what your competitors are doing. No, this is a structured, formal process of learning from the best in the business, even companies in totally different industries, to find amazing ideas you can adapt for yourself.
And it follows a really clear procedure. You start by admitting you need to improve. Then you define what you want to measure. You go find the absolute leader, the best in class, and you dive deep into how they do what they do. Then you take what you learned, redesign your own processes, and, this part's crucial, you track the results to see if it actually worked.
So when you pull it all together, what's the big takeaway? It's moving beyond those single conflicting metrics. The real goal is to build a balanced scorecard, one that pulls from all 5 pillars so you can see the whole story of your business, not just one chapter.
So think about it. The next time a package lands on your doorstep with same-day delivery, which of these 5 things is that company absolutely mastering? Is it their responsiveness, just pure speed? Is it their reliability, making sure that order is perfect? Or is it their incredible cost management and asset efficiency that makes the whole thing possible? Chances are it's a perfect, really delicate balance of all 5.